Big Van Allen Health. That was something that we get the name of. Done by the United States Army, not NASA. NASA not formed until much later. And you'll see the first NASA rocket, here it is. You see NASA all out there. National Aeronautics Space Administration. And this is the Juno 2 rocket, Juno 2. Now, this rocket was primarily used to launch Pioneer probes in
Refurbishment is complete
This
and
is where they
preparation
put the
is well
rockets
underway for
together.
the first SLS
Spaceships.
mission. The crawler will be doing what it was originally designed to do once again, which is moving rockets.
LC 39, that's what we call this whole area. That would include the vehicle assembly building, which is on the left, soon to be on the right. All the support buildings around it, out ahead of us, about 4 miles. You have two historic launch pads, 39A and 39B. Two huge launch pads that were built for the Apollo program, which is what you're on your way to learn about. The Apollo. Your attention is perspective. You gotta realize these are all pretty big buildings here. They don't look like it because the VAB is simply so much larger. Straight ahead of us, at the end of the road, there's a very large building. It was built for the shuttle program. Today it's leased by Boeing. We're going to turn left up here. You'll get a good look at it on the right. The building is where they built the Starliner capsule, and that's the one that just came back from the International Space Station. But if you look at the building as I turn, you'll go, because Crawler 2 is the star of the show. Crawler 2 is the one that we use for the Artemis program. It's been completely updated. It can carry 18 million pounds. That's 3 times its weight. Now, Crawler 1, on the other hand, cannot. Crawler 1 just, well, let's say it sits here. That's what it does. It sits in front of the Boeing building. It's on our right. You'll see it in there. If you look closely, you'll notice the tracks are kind of rusty. I don't remember when it moved last. But you get past this building and you will see Crawler 2. It was moving yesterday. Yeah, we got to see it in the morning moving around. There it is. Look behind you. Gray platform. Here's where you use your imagination. That crawler picks up that gray platform, takes it into VAB. We would have assembled the shuttle on it, take it out to the pad, launch right off of it, bring it back and repeat. We had 3 of those platforms, but that's the only one left. We cut up the other 2. They're from the shuttle program. Cranes in the back. Well, they're building Mobile Launcher 2. ML2 is what we call it. Mobile Launcher 2 will be the largest one.
Consoles we sat at when men first took off to fly to the moon. The tragedy of Apollo 1 had put us a year and a half behind. We were making up for it in one big leap, and we were doing it with a rocket that no man had ever flown before. It was a few days before Christmas 1968 when Apollo 8 sat on the pad. She was the first of a new kind, a moon rocket. This was the Phoenix, risen from the ashes of Apollo 1. The first Apollo crew did not die in vain. This was to be their testament. oxygen in her tanks caused ice to form on the outside of the craft. The extreme temperature differences between the air and the sub-zero fuel caused the metal skin of the rocket to expand and contract. Everyone who was on the pad agreed. It was as though the rocket was alive, breathing, straining at the leash. Earlier in the morning, astronauts Frank Borman, Jim Lovell, and Bill Anders had made their final preparations before taking that long ride out to the waiting spacecraft. The minimum safe distance from a Saturn V at liftoff was 3 miles. The reason was simple. When fully fueled, the rocket contained the explosive power of an atomic bomb. As the clock counted down, the astronauts and all of us in launch control went through the pre-flight checks. Our hands on the controls of the most powerful, most complex machine ever built. It had over 2 million separate systems, and to bring these men back alive, everything had to work perfectly. Each individual system had been tested, but what we didn't know was how they would perform when all 2 million began to work together. That moment would come when the countdown clock reached 0. If a maneuvering thruster failed, if communications broke down, if navigation was off by 1 degree, if any piece of the miles of wiring, circuits, relays, or valves was defective, Frank Borman, Jim Lovell, and Bill Anders would pay with their lives. As they sat, waiting for launch on that chill December morning, these 3 astronauts were back to what they had always been, test pilots. You are now in the final minutes before the launch of Apollo 8, right here where it actually happened. Mankind is about to leave his planet behind and journey to another. It is one of those rare moments when history is not being made, destiny is being embraced.
This is launch control, T-minus 3 minutes and counting. We've completed our communications checks with the Apollo 8 astronauts in the cabin, and the communications are go. During this period, once we do get the firing command, the various tanks within the 3 stages of the Saturn V launch vehicle begin to pressurize. We have firing command. The firing command is in. We are now on the automatic sequence. T-minus 2 minutes, 20 seconds, and counting. Our status board indicates that all aspects are ready. Instrument unit is ready, spacecraft ready. Final check of the emergency detection system. That ready light also on. First stage preparations are completed.
All systems are A-OK.
Keep going.
We're on.
Ready to go to contact. Stand by, Walter. Okay, you're on.
All systems go.
1 minute, 45 seconds and counting. The first stage liquid oxygen tank has been pressurized, and the pressure is still building up. Coming up on 90 seconds, mark, T-minus 90 seconds and counting. The Apollo 8 crew standing by, spacecraft commander Frank Borman, Jim Lovell, Bill Anders. We now have a report that the liquid hydrogen tank in the 3rd stage is pressurized. 1 minute 15 seconds. All third stage propellants pressurized at this time as we come up on the 60-second mark on our flight to the moon. T-minus 60 seconds and counting. The vehicle now is completely pressurized. We're coming up on a power transfer shortly. We have the power transfer. We're now on the flight batteries within the launch vehicle. Final reports coming from Frank Borman at this time. Final look at the switch list aboard the spacecraft. 20 seconds, all aspects. We are still low at this time. T-minus 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. The engines are on. 4, 3. Liftoff at 7:51 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're clear the tower.
Apollo 8 successfully orbited the moon, and the astronauts returned safely to the Earth. I know. I'm Jim Lovell, and I was one of the crew of this spacecraft, Apollo 8. We were the first men to see the surface of the moon from just a few miles away. But it was the hundreds of thousands of men and women who worked in that team, and the millions of people who supported the mission that really made it possible. That way, I guess, we all went to the moon. Now, on the other side of those doors, you'll find an actual Saturn V moon rocket. It's still the most powerful, the most complex machine ever built. And I guess it's the only one that can take you to another planet. I actually got to fly one on the second flight to the moon called Apollo 13. But that's another story.
spacecraft developed by private companies SpaceX and Boeing. SpaceX's capsule, Crew Dragon, is capable of carrying up to 7 astronauts and cargo launched on space.
Black and yellow.
So it's not raining right now. We're gonna hit the road, get going. We've had an interesting stop, to say the least. But anyway, yeah, we'll keep you posted. If you look between the buildings, the ocean's gorgeous. And that way over there, I don't know if you can see it or not, is part of Kennedy Space Center. That's where they actually build the rockets and such. There, way over there. There it is. All right, love you.
I think that was it.
Yeah, so this is what we're in right now.